Sooner fans, I got a question for you. Do you remember September the 24th, 1977? I sure do. That was a big game, big matchup for that Saturday. And I'm going to tell you about this game coming up on Sooner Legends podcast. Well, welcome to this episode of Sooner Legends Podcast. I'm your host, Mike the Legend, and if you don't mind, if you're new to the channel, new to the family, hop down and hit that red subscriber button. Turn on your post notification bells. That way you won't miss anything I will be dropping in the future. And if you're on a computer or a laptop, if you notice in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a watermark that looks like a YouTube subscribe button. Just hover your little mouse over that and you could subscribe without jumping out of the video. Could you give me a comment? And if you don't mind, please like it and share it with your friends. Well, as I stated at the front of the video, September 24th, 1977. Me, I had a couple of weeks prior, just turned a bright 12 years old, and two powerhouse football teams played on that Saturday. It was the Oklahoma Sooners facing Woody Hayes' Ohio State Buckeyes at the shoe, Columbus, Ohio. OU was ranked third. Ohio State was ranked fourth, and that game, it I don't know how it was in Ohio, but I know down here in Oklahoma, the week of that game, it was built up. I mean, every news station, 4, 5, and 9, it was it was being discussed on the morning news, the 12 o'clock news at noon, the 4 o'clock, and then at the 6 o'clock news. This was a big major game for OU. For one, the two never played each other up to that point, if you can believe that. But it was the first time they had ever met on a fielding competition. The announcers that day was the legendary Keith Jackson and former Notre Dame head coach Ara Parsegan. And it was a barn burner at first. OU jumped out 20-0. Thomas Lott and Billy Sims, Ohio State's defense couldn't stop OU. I mean, we ran up and down the field on them. They couldn't stop us. We was stopping Ohio State. I mean, and to quote Barry Switzer, if this two series of events hadn't had happened, and Barry Switzer said, and I quote, "We would have hung a half a hundred on their ass and beat them." But as all good things must say, Thomas Lott, our quarterback, pulled a hamstring, and then Billy Sims, our great running back and Heisman Trophy winner, sprained his ankle. And I think Kenny King went out of that game, if I remember right, too. So we go up 20-0 in halftime, and then Ohio State scored 28 unanswered points on us until late in the fourth quarter on a fumble recovery from OU. We score a touchdown, and Barry chose to go for two instead of one instead of tying. or should I say, if he would have picked up the 2-point conversion, we would have tied the game. But we failed on the 2-point conversion. And so 2 events happened. First, the onside kick by our legendary field goal kicker, Uwe von Yaman. Kicked an onside kick, and OU recovered it. The quarterback that took the place of Thomas Lott is the news director for Sports 9 right now, Mr. Dean Blevins. He come out. He got us to the 41-yard line. And Barry Switzer, there again, I'm quoting him. 41 yards was like a field goal for Uwe. And that's true. Uwe was money from 41 and in. I said at the 41-yard line, I meant to say that they was 41 yards from scoring a touchdown. So they march Uwe and all those out there, and then Woody Hayes, being Woody Hayes, started calling timeouts, trying to ice Uwe. Good luck. And what was funny in that moment is, I think it was on the second timeout, I think, the horseshoe at Columbus erupted in a chant, block that kick, block that kick. And what does our little German field goal kicker do? He leads them in the chant like he's directing them. So finally, we get set up. Bud Hebert was the holder. Ball was snapped good. Bud did a good job of controlling the snap, putting it down for Uwe. And when Uwe put his foot into that, you could tell it was going to be good. And the trajectory of that ball when it cleared the uprights, I still think to this day that would have been good at 62, maybe 60 to 62 yards with how that ball cleared the uprights. Then of course Ohio State got the ball back and they did these series of laterals, blah blah blah. But at the end of the game, Barry was walking out to shake Woody Hayes' hand, and his trainer was in front of him, and his trainer extended his hand out to Barry, or not Barry, but Woody, and Woody slapped his hand. And when Barry seen that, they all went in the locker room. But Barry feels if he would have went up there, that Woody would have shook his hand. Now, from what I've read and what I've heard over the years, Saturday or Sunday on the Woody Hayes show, he was so upset and so mad that he didn't make one mention of that game, which I will always die on this hill and say Woody Hayes was the biggest jerk that was ever a football coach. He was a good, legendary coach by his record and all that, but he was a jerk. And we all remember when he slapped that Clemson player that got him fired. But another little funny story on that kick is Uwe has stated several times in interviews that an assistant coach told Uwe, he said, if we win this game, I'm going to propose to my girlfriend. So they won it with the kick. Well, 15, 20 years later, that same coach come up to Uwe and said, Uwe, I wish you would have missed that son of a bitch. But that, I remember as a kid with that game on Saturdays, especially during OU football season. My friends which I grew up out. I live where I grew up out in the country, and but my two buddies I run around with, they knew on Saturdays during OU football. OU football took a back seat before we did our thing. So that's a good memory from me. I really did enjoy that game, and Oklahoma won it 29-28. If y'all stuck around this far, I've got videos. I got one in this corner, that corner, bottom corner that y'all can go back and rewatch. I I got a heck of a playlist. Guys, we're at 434 subscribers. I really do appreciate every single one of you. If it wasn't for you guys who have subscribed to me and made comments and shared memories with me of your memory of OU football, this channel would not be possible. So I owe it all to you guys. So until we meet again, this is the legend. We'll see you on the backside. God bless and boomer sooner.